A man goes to a golf course and tells the club pro he's taught a gorilla to play golf. The club pro is understandably skeptical until he glances outside and sees a gorilla holding a golf club. The way he drives the ball, the man says, mimicking a huge swing, just amazing. I'll believe it when I see it, the pro replies. The man tells the pro, I'll bet you $50 right now he can beat you. After giving this some thought, the pro decides he could use an easy $50. They shake hands on it, and the three of them head out to the first hole together. The pro tees up first. He winds up and drives the ball almost 300 yards down the fairway. He grins briefly as the man sets a tee and ball for the gorilla. The gorilla approaches the ball and swings, launching a missile right down the center of the fairway, over 400 yards. The ball lands on the green, 5 yards from the hole. Flabbergasted, the pro is speechless. As they walk down the fairway together, the man says to the pro, Look, bud, I don't want to waste your time or cause any embarrassment in front of anyone else out here, you know? You want to just slip me the $50 and we'll call it good? Seeing a painful and shameful loss in his immediate future, the pro reluctantly agrees and forks over the money. As they're leaving, the pro says, Hey, just since I'm curious, how's his putting? Oh, the man says, mimicking a huge swing, absolutely awful. The inventor of the Harley-Davidson motorcycle, Arthur Davidson, died and went to heaven. At the pearly gates, St. Peter told Mr. Davidson, Since you've been such a good man and your motorcycles have changed the world, your reward is you can hang out with anyone you want in heaven. Mr. Davidson thought about it for a minute and then said, I want to hang out with God. Very well, said St. Peter, and took Mr. Davidson to the throne room and introduced him to God. God and Mr. Davidson exchanged greetings. Then Mr. Davidson said to God, Since you invented women, I'd like to point out a few things. God said, okay. Well, said Mr. Davidson, professional to professional, you have some major design flaws in your invention. God replied, I'm listening. Mr. Davidson continues, There's too much inconsistency in the front end protrusion. It chatters constantly at high speeds. Most of the rear ends are too soft and have excessive wobble. The intake is placed way too close to the exhaust, and the maintenance costs are outrageous. God ponders all this for a moment. You may have some good points there. Hold on a minute. God went to his celestial supercomputer, typed in a few words, and waited for the results. The computer whirred and beeped, and eventually it printed out a slip of paper, which God read. God said, Where it may be true that my invention has flaws, holding up the slip of paper, God continued, According to these numbers, it is also true that more men are riding my invention than yours. One day, God was looking down at earth and saw all of the rascally behavior that was going on. So he called one of his angels and sent him to earth for a time. When the angel returned, he told God, yes, it is bad on earth. 95% of people are misbehaving and only 5% are not. God thought for a moment and said, maybe I had better send down a second angel and get another opinion. So God called another angel and sent him to earth for a time. When the angel returned, he went to God and said, yes, it's true. The earth is in decline. 95% are misbehaving, but 5% are being good. God was not pleased, so he decided to email the 5% that were good because he wanted to encourage them and give them a little something to help keep them going. Do you know what the email said? No? That's okay. I didn't get one either. A husband and wife enter a couples tournament. On the first tee, the husband hits a beautiful 240-yard shot straight down the fairway. The ball is now only 70 yards from the green with no obstructions. Since it is an alternating shot tournament, the wife hits the second shot. The ball comes off the toe of the wife's club and ends up 60 yards from the green behind a large oak tree. The husband then plays a beautiful slice around the tree, which lands on the green just 5 inches from the cup. The wife hits her putt on the left of the cup way too hard, and it rolls off the green into a very deep sand trap. The husband hits an unbelievable shot out of the trap that lands on the green and rolls into the cup for a bogey. As they are walking off the green, the husband says, "Well, we took a 5 on a par 4, but I'm sure we will do better on the next hole." "Don't talk to me about it, Buster," says the wife. "You're the one who took 3 strokes. An engineer dies and goes to hell. Dissatisfied with the level of comfort, she starts designing and building improvements. After a while, hell has air conditioning, ice water, flushing toilets, and escalators. The engineer is a pretty popular gal. One day, God calls and asks Satan, "So, how are things going down there?" Satan says, "Why, things are going great. We've now got air conditioning, ice water, flushing toilets, and escalators. There's no telling what this engineer is going to come up with next. She's simply brilliant." God is horrified. "What? You've got an engineer? That's clearly a mistake. She should never have gone down there. You know all engineers go to heaven. Send her up here immediately." Satan says, "No way. I really like having an engineer on the staff. I'm keeping her." God says, "Send her back up here or I'll sue you." "Yeah, right," Satan laughs. "And just where are you going to get a lawyer?" An elder gent sat down at his seat on the 50-yard line for the Super Bowl. A guy came along and asked him if anyone was sitting in the seat next to him. "No," he said, "the seat is empty." "This is incredible," said the man. "Who in their right mind would have a seat like this for the Super Bowl, the biggest sporting event in the world, and not use it?" Somberly, the elder gent says, "Well, the seat belongs to my wife. She and I were to come here together, but she passed away. This is the first Super Bowl we have not been to together since we got married in 1977. "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's terrible," said the man. "But couldn't you find someone else? A friend, relative, or even a neighbor to take the seat?" The gent shakes his head. "No, they're all at the funeral." A blonde and a brunette are spending a day off together at the local lake. Since they're alone, they decide to go skinny dipping and enjoy the beautiful weather. After frolicking around for 30 minutes or so, they decide they have had enough fun. Just as they emerge from the water, 2 buses pull up, parking right in front of them. To their shock and horror, the buses were full of men from the local church, which they both attend. With nowhere to hide and their clothes out of reach, the blonde tries in vain to cover her private parts and dashes for cover. The brunette instead covers her face and runs after the blonde. As they get out of view, the blonde says, "Gosh, how will you ever face those men in church now? You didn't even try and cover your womanhood." To which the brunette responds, "Well, I don't know about you, but those men only recognize me by my face."